Hello, my fellow peers. This is Francisco Cota, also known as El Paco Machin from the band Hexen from Tijuana, Mexico. And today we're going to be taking a look on how to set up your monitor mixes in Ableton 9. So let's say you're in a studio situation and you got two new musicians coming in and they're going to be laying out some new tracks. So you need to lay out some monitor mixes for them. How do we do that in Ableton? So it's pretty easy. We go into our Create menu. Then we insert a return track. In this case, we're going to be making two new tracks, and we're going to be renaming those. Let's say our first is going to be for our vocalist, so we're going to be renaming it for monitor vocal, and the second for our monitor for our lead guitar player. Okay, so we got our two tracks renamed. And each of these tracks is routed to the send knobs on each channel. So the A insert track is routed to our A fader, and the V is routed to our V knob. And this is not a fader, it's a knob. So A with A, V with V. It's pretty easy. So let's say that our vocalist wants to hear some of the kick. He wants to hear some toms, some congas, cabasa, a little bit of bass, a lot of the Hammond, then maybe a little bit of the rhythm guitar. And let's say that our guitar player, our lead guitar player, needs to hear a lot of the rhythm guitar, a lot of the Hammond, a lot of the bass, maybe a little bit of the kick drum, not too much of the percussions. And we got our mixes set up. So let's say that we're going to be creating two new audio tracks as well for each of our performers. In this case, let's say the first is for our vocal, and the second one is for our lead guitar. I don't know what happened there, but weird sound. Lead guitar. Lead guitar. There we go. So we enable our tracks, and vocalists most of the time want to hear a lot of themselves. So in this case, we turn it all the way up, and also for the guitar players, they always want to hear a lot of what's coming from their amps or from wherever they're playing. So you can adjust them to whatever you want, but most of the time you want these knobs to go all the way. Depends on the person and depends on the studio situation. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to figure out how we're going to route this audio into our outputs from our interface. By default, the insert return tracks are routed into the master fader, Ableton's master fader. So we need to route those tracks to the outputs on our device. In this case, we're going to be selecting an external output, and we're going to be routing, let's say, our monitor for the vocal to the output 3, and our lead guitar mix into output 4 of our audio interface. So right now we're going to be hitting play, and each of these two monitor tracks are going to be having their own mix. So there we go. Pretty nice. So if you don't hear anything from the tracks that you're recording, remember to enable these buttons right here. These are what brings the audio, the new audio that's coming in from your device, from your performers into Ableton. Otherwise, you won't be able to hear them in your monitors. So remember to enable these. Let me just turn these off. And another thing, let's say that your vocalist says that he has too much kick on his mix, so you just turn a little bit of the kick down. Maybe he has a little bit of himself in his mix, so you just turn the vocal a bit down. Same for the guitar player. Maybe he wants a little bit more of the rhythm guitar, maybe a little bit more of the Hammond, maybe a little bit less bass, maybe a little bit less of the percussions. And as you can see, our mixes are ready to go. So once you got your mix set up, if you want to just drop or increase the overall volume, just grab your fader and turn it either up or down. And it's as easy as that, setting up your mixes in Ableton Live 9. So if you guys got any comments or any observations that you want to make, please feel free to leave a comment in the video, and I'll gladly tell you that you are incorrect. Just kidding. So that'll be all for this week's assignment, and I hope to see you guys real soon. Keep on rocking. Yeah.